This is the bane of the customer service role. Every customer interfacing person will agree with me that the customer service role is quite simple. It's not a technical role, it's not complex. It's an entry level role. You easily find talent to to fill the position or replace the customer service person. And because it's an entry level role, it's not so well paying. But one of the major challenge, as simple as the role seems, one of the major challenge is the handling of difficult customers. The part where you handle, you know, the part where you have to be emotionally intelligent, in handling people, managing people, in the role is what makes the role challenging. When you have to maintain a positive attitude even before a customer that is venting and a negative, a customer that is venting and giving negative response. Now, today we'll look at the de-escalating difficult customer service situations, and I'll take my time on this so that we can deal extensively on it. When a customer service professional faces an abusive or verbally aggressive customer, it can be personally distressing. It can weigh them down, It can be mentally distressing, personally distressing, However, effective anger management in this moment is very essential, both for the employee's emotional well-being and for maintaining professionalism. Below is a detailed explanation covering the psychological, emotional, and procedural strategies in handling such customers. Number one, understanding the situation. Recognize the dynamics. An angry or abusive customer is often venting or frustrating about a situation, not necessarily about the service representative personnel. Understanding this helps depersonalize the attack. It's directed at the role and not the person. Sometimes it grows from them being irate about the organization or about the service to now being irate about the policies that the customer service personnel is giving them because of the policies the organization has laid down for that particular situation, to now being irate about the person serving them because the person may be insisting on a policy that does not go well with them. So it's quite extensive, and we'll look deeply into this. But now we're looking at the surface level, where the customer is first of all interacting with the customer service person based on the dissatisfaction of the service they have received. Acknowledge emotional triggers. Certain words, tone, or accusations can evoke defensiveness or anger. The first step is to recognize these triggers so that you can consciously control your reaction as a customer service personnel. The second dynamic way, or the second effective anger management modus operandi for you as a customer service person, is to emotionally self-regulate yourself. Have emotional self-regulation techniques. For example, you can pause before responding. When emotions surge, your body come to a position of fight or flight. So it's either you feel like leaving that space, or you feel like countering what the person is saying. It's natural. These are these are the things that comes natural to you. When emotions surge, your body's fight or flight response activates. But to counter this this response, you have to pause first before responding. Take some minutes to look deep down, into the whole situation. Take a slow, deep breath before speaking. Don't just say it as it comes to your heart. Don't say it as it comes to your mind. Just calm down. Take a slow, deep breath before speaking. Mentally count like 1 to 3. You can do that. Focus on maintaining a calm tone and neutral face expression, like you're not reactional, in your expression. We talked about effective communication already, and that is a non-verbal, communication style. You can also use grounding techniques. Like grounding helps bring you back to the present moment and away from emotional escalation. Feel your feet on the floor or notice your posture in the chair. Silently repeat a calming phrase. For example, stay professional. Like you tell yourself, you say these words deep down within you. This is not about me. This customer is not angry with me. This is not about me. Or you tell yourself deep down, stay professional, stay professional. No matter what this customer is saying, stay professional. So these are the ways you can control your own response to those triggering words the customer might be saying to you. It's not about me, it's not about me. Practice controlled breathing. You can inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 2 seconds, and exhale through the mouth for 6 seconds. Like you inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 2 seconds, and exhale it for 6 seconds. So these are just ways that you would be able to take a pause before responding. Another way you can self-regulate is to have cognitive reframing, meaning reinterpret the customer's behavior. This is when you give the customer, create an excuse within yourself for the customer. The customer normally does not always talk like this. This customer is actually angry because of something. You create an excuse, knowing fully well that everybody can be rational. Everybody will not just come up to another person and act like this if something was not the cause. So this is when you create an excuse for the customer in your mind. This customer is not naturally like this. You are telling yourself, this customer is not naturally like this. She's not like this. He's not like this. There's something that is making him angry, and I need to help him with. I can change his mood. I have the ability to resolve this issue. Tell yourself that instead of thinking, oh, they are attacking me. Reinterpret the customer's behavior. Instead of thinking, oh, they are attacking me, think, oh, they are upset about the situation and I represent the company. I am the company to the customer. When the customer is calling, when the customer is before me, I'm no longer Adifarayola Oluwapumi. When the customer is before me, I am now representing taonet.training. I am now representing the organization that I work for. Because of that, this customer is irate about this service. The service that has been rendered, a service that has been rendered to him that they are not satisfied about, right? So they are upset about the situation, and I represent the company. Remind yourself that this is the reason you are paid. You are paid to have a positive attitude, even before an irate customer, even before a venting customer, even before an aggressive customer or a difficult customer. Remind yourself that you are paid to show calmness. Remind yourself that showing calmness and empathy is able to diffuse tension more effectively than reacting emotionally. You are not paid to be reactional. You are paid, to solve problems, to have a positive attitude, positive demeanor. even before an irate customer. A customer can be so irate and they can be pouring out so many negative words, and then just know, just tell yourself, they are not directing it to me. It's not about me. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. I just need to assist them so that their countenance or their ideology they have built, or their present situation, can change. They can be happy with the organization. I can change this mindset that they already have about the company, right? So aside from you having a self-regulation technique, like we have discussed, pausing before responding, using grounding techniques, cognitive reframing, you can also do that by communication strategies. One of the ways you can effectively manage anger, you know, inside you as a customer service person when you are before a difficult customer, is to use communication strategies, meaning maintain a calm and respectful tone. Don't do fire for fire. It means don't lash out to the customer as they are giving it to you are giving it to them back. No, that's not why you are paid. You are not paid to respond to them, the way they are being aggressive about it, or the way you know, being irate, expressing themselves in an irate way. No, you have to maintain a calm and respectful tone. Keep your voice steady and moderate in volume. You are not talking at the top of your voice. Don't match their volume or emotional intensity. Be calm, be composed. Don't match their don't match their volume, don't match their emotional intensity. Use the customer's name if appropriate and acknowledge their feelings. Just say things like, I understand this situation is very, frustrating for you. Say things like, I understand this situation is very frustrating for you. Oh, this is so, oh, wow, let me look into this. Oh, this is not, no, that is not how we intended to serve you. This is not how we serve our customers. Let me quickly let me address this and get back to you. Put yourself in their shoes. Empathy will always be the hallmark, of the customer service profession. Is the apparel, is the customer service apparel. Every day you have, as a customer service person, has to be clothed with empathy, because without it, you might not be able to serve people effectively. Empathy takes away, excuses. Empathy wants to help another person. Empathy feels the pain of another person and wants to bring the person out of it. So it's important that you empathize, with the customer every time. Avoid matching their volume or emotional intensity. Use the customer's name if appropriate, and acknowledge their feelings. Saying things like, I understand this situation is very frustrating for you. You can also set boundaries tactfully. This comes when you have applied all the, steps that we have mentioned ahead. You have been calm, you have maintained a demeanor, you have tried to assist them, you have made an excuse for them. You have made an excuse for them in your mind. You have empathized with them. You have tried to run around for them. And then the customer still remains aggressive and verbally abusive. When the attack has become personal, it's no longer the organization, it's now you as a person, then one of the things you can do at that time is to set boundaries tactfully. If verbal abuse continues, just assertively or politely state the limitations. Every organization should have, the limitation that, or such limitations for customer service team. These limitations can include policies like when a customer is no longer wanting to, resolve an issue with a customer service person, then it can be escalated to the next level, or next level of authority, like the supervisor, the unit head, and other a higher level in management, where the customers' complaints can be, attended to. If the verbal abuse continues, assertively but politely state limits. I want to help you resolve this, but I cannot do so if you continue to use that language. you know Offer options like, if you would like, I can connect you with a supervisor. Focus on the solution, don't bother about the expression. Focus on the solution. But when you're trying to focus on the solution and the customer keeps reiterating verbal abuse, keep using verbal abusive languages, then you have the right to, escalate to the next level of manager, refer them to somebody else, somebody higher. Sometimes to even ease the mental stress, if it's not a walking customer, if it's a customer on the line, you can just, probably put tell the customer you'll be with them shortly, put the call on hold and give it to your colleague or somebody else, explain the situation and hand it over to the person for the person to help you continue to the call, so that you can go cool off and calm yourself and speak to yourself again, so that mentally draining setting can clear off your mind, and you don't use that state of mind to respond to another customer, because every time you have to give new people ample opportunity, you have to respond to new people with enthusiasm. So when a draining situation has occurred, you need to take some time to cool off and speak to yourself, talk to yourself, like have a dialogue with yourself about the situation, express what happened, reassure yourself that you know what you are doing. It's just a situation beyond your control, somebody else will handle it. So by the time you're attending to the next person, you're attending to them in the way they should be attended to, in the way they want to be attended to, right? So this is very important. Focus on solutions, redirect conversation to problem solving, summarize their issue briefly to show understanding. This is when you're still having a conversation with the person. You can redirect their conversation to problem solving, summarize their issue briefly. Maybe after they have finished telling you the issues and you have empathized with them, summarize it and give them clear steps on how you are going to walk them through the solution. Okay, I will escalate to this unit, and then I'll give you feedback, because before the close of business, you get a feedback within 24 to 48 hours. You get a feedback within 1 week, depending on what the company policy is for that particular complaint. Right. Just keep their focus on resolution rather than the conflict. Don't focus on the negativity. We mentioned that even if you are running late on a particular appointment, you can, instead of saying, "Oh, we are very sorry for the delay," you can say, "Thank you for your patience." Take their minds away, from the negative. Focus on the positive. Keep their focus on resolution rather than conflict. Then you can also, the next step that you can take, to ensure that you de-escalate difficult customer service situations, is to look at organization support. The structures that have been put in place in your organization, the structures that have been put in place to resolve those kind of situations. Earlier on, I mentioned company policies. It's important to know your organization escalation policies. What are your organizational support and escalation policies? It is important that you know them. Know your organization support and escalations. Every customer service operator or every customer service operations personnel should have the guidelines for dealing with irate, difficult, abusive behaviors. For example, I mentioned earlier transfer of call, escalating to next level of management, which is involving a manager, or ending the communication depending on the situation and if it is necessary. Right. Another organization support can be documentation of incidents. Sometimes if it's a call, the call can be recorded. If it's a walking customer, there can be a footage, in the camera, you know, probably in the CCTV or something that covered that particular situation. So the time the customer came in, just in case the situation is escalated and management representatives want to watch the footage so they can see the things that transpired and know how to better help the customer, right? And documenting the incidents can also be, such as after maybe like an maybe an irate customer has vented, a difficult customer has exchanged words with you. You can also document it, log in the event accurately, via mail, depending on your reporting system. This is to protect you and provide the organization with the data of the recurring issues or of the irate customer, right? So the another organization support or escalation can be seeking supervisor or peer support. We already talked about that. Talk with your colleague or your team leaders. Some organizations usually have morning huddle in the morning, to talk about the challenges of the previous day, how they were handled, how they will be handled, and further prepare them for the new day. You can also get support from your team members, from or your colleagues, your other colleagues. Discuss it with them so that you can at least de-escalate it, from your mind. You are not thinking about it alone. You are sharing it with someone. Talk with your colleagues or team leaders and help release the tension and prevent lingering resentment. It's so important. You see, in customer service, you should have a support group. A customer service unit should have what? A support group. You should have people you are talking to. A customer service, this does not mean you are discussing customers, but you are not supposed to keep lingering. You're not supposed to keep irate your encounters with difficult customers to yourself, so you don't build resentment towards that customer or towards the customers of that organization generally, or towards the management of the organization, or towards other units departments in the organization, maybe that are directly involved in the complaints. It's important that you are talking, to your support group. That's why in taonet training, we definitely have a support group for customer service personnel. And if you would like to join that support group, you can send a mail to taonet .training@gmail.com, and then we'll take it from there. A customer service person should have a support group. In that support group, you will be assisted better. You will have listening ears, not to judge, but to assist your mind, to ensure that you are able to release tension and you are able to take up, positive countenance. You're able to release the negativity, from your mind, resentment from your mind, and take up the positive countenance. And, so that your work in the customer service journey will be better and would last. In customer service, it's so important that there are organizations where a customer interaction, that is not properly dealt with can lead to the termination of the appointment, of a customer service person's, job or role in an organization. So because of that, you just have to make sure that every interaction you give it your best shot till the end. And one of the ways to ensure that that happens is to make sure that you are part of a customer service group, where you can discuss some of the challenges you have and get professional advice, towards those challenges, not emotional advice. You are not talking to someone that you feel the person will just support you. You're talking to people that will give you the best, professional advice, to handle and tackle, every customer interaction so that your work can be better. You are not discussing your organization. No, you are just, because you are also a rational and an emotional being, and then you have valid emotions too. So it's a place where you are a customer. It's a place where you are heard. It's a place where you are listened to. You know, it's a place where your emotion is validated and it counts. We are helping manage your emotion even as you are managing the emotion of others. So if you would like to join the Taonet Training Support Group, send us an email and we'll take it from there. Another way to de-escalate an encounter, with difficult customer, we've mentioned so many ways to do that, is post-interaction self-care. Is so important. Talking to yourself, taking care of yourself. You cannot you have to take out time to separate yourself from that place where you just had a negative encounter. You have to take some time away from that place and go and talk to yourself, because if you don't do that, that situation can linger in your mind and it can keep having a ripple effect. You can keep transferring that particular aggression on others, which ought not to be so. So go separate yourself. I want to give an instance. And separate. You just had an encounter with an irate customer, and the customer said a lot of negative words. Separate yourself. Go to a place and ask yourself what just happened, and answer the question. I interacted with Mr. Ojo. The first time we had a conversation was on the 4th of July 2024, and he ordered some items. Then few hours later, he called that they were broken. And then, I gave him the complaint for the return policy and everything. And he started cursing. And he started abusing, or us, calling us incompetent, telling us that he was going to deliver it to his customers, and his customers have cut off every of their every project. It was just going to be like a test. They were going to give him a better deal, and that deal, he lost it because of us. And he came back to vent that he's going to arrest us. He cursed and cursed, and he came physically, and almost became very aggressive. And we tried to escalate it, that we would apologize. We tried to apologize. He was not having it. He came in, he started. And you will say to yourself, and you say, okay, I'm not a problem. I did my part. Probably it was the delivery unit that was the cause. You need to talk to yourself until you get to the bottom of it. I attended a customer service training, and the trainer says when something fails or something does not work, ask yourself whys. Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Up until by the time you get to the fifth whys, you should be able to trace the origin of the problem. When you get to the origin of the problem, tackle it from there. So you separate yourself and begin to ask yourself, why did this happen? Why did the customer vent? Why did he get? Who was responsible? Okay, you get to the point, okay, is the delivery person? What happened? Okay, the bike malfunctioned. Okay, the bike was not serviced. Okay, the bike tumbled on the road, and it was not careful to know that what he carried was bottles. and he didn't care to check before he delivered it. He just still carried it and delivered it without knowing that what he delivered already broke. So by the time you trace it down, you will know the real person to hold responsible. Okay, it was the mechanic that did not come to fix the bike, because if the bike was fixed, it wouldn't tumble on the road. And also the kind of drivers that need, reorientation of drivers to be able to check their goods, to be able to check when his bike tumbled. Or okay, maybe I did not tell him that what he was carrying was bottle, so when the bike tumbled, he didn't know that okay, something, he was not conscious that something had broken, or he was not conscious of the sound. Maybe he was in a noisy place, so he didn't hear anything crack. Okay, maybe next time I'm supposed to tell them the content of what they are carrying. Or maybe one of the reasons why I'm not telling them the content is maybe I don't want them to think they are carrying something valuable, that is beyond what they ought to be liable for. You by the time you ask yourself why, you will know what the problem is, and then you fix it, and then you sort that, and then you mentally be ready to attend to another customer. But in the interim, know that your support group is important. You talking to yourself is important. Having somebody else attend to that customer that is being abusive while you go and talk to yourself, ask yourself questions to cool off is important. Having colleagues that can take over the conversation, is important. So these are the ways you can de-escalate your encounter with a difficult customer. All right. So we're talking about post-interaction self-care. After a challenging encounter, take a brief break, stretch, hydrate, or step outside if positive. Reflect rather than ruminate. What worked? What can you do differently next time? Encourage in stress relief activities outside of work, like exercise, mindfulness, hobbies. Exercise is so important. Exercise would you won't when you're exercising, you're unable to hold negative thoughts for long, because all your energy you are exerting it. Is when you are full of energy, that's when you are able to attack or handle negativity. When you're able to combat with a negative interaction. But when you exercise, when you are working out, and you are using all your exercise to be fit, by the time negativity comes, you don't have so much strength for it. You just want to de-escalate everything and make sure everybody is okay. So exercise is very, very important. Mindfulness, hobbies is important. When I mean mindfulness, you are conscious, of what you do. Mindfulness, hobbies is important. Another thing that is important is training and long-term development. Things like you listening to Taonet training right now, having materials, listening to podcasts, audios, videos, reading books that can help you, de-escalate conversations, with a negative customer, that can train your mind further on emotional intelligence, which is the next thing we are going to. Training and under training and long-term development, develop emotional intelligence. A customer service person is paid to be emotionally intelligent at all times. A customer service role and customer intelligence, they are intertwined. Understanding both your emotions and others improves conflict handling. Training in empathy, active listening, and self-control enhances resilience. This is so, so important. It enhances what? Resilience. Role playing. Practice role playing means that You can take out 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes before business day, to practice role playing, maybe in the middle of your morning huddle. Stimulated difficult customer scenarios can help you boost confidence, can help you practice beforehand and prepare you to respond calmly under pressure. When you role play, it really, really helps you, because then you are not, the people that you are interacting with are familiar faces, and you are making up the scenario. It can help you practice ahead the things you are to say if such a situation comes up. Foster supportive workplace culture. Organizations should encourage employees to speak up about abusive interactions, about difficult interactions with customers, and ensure management validates their experiences. It's always important to know that your employees, as an organization, your employees are your first customers. They are your internal customers. There are two types of customers an organization have. You have your internal customers and your external customers. The internal customers are your staff members. So it's important that before you give kudos or give so much attention to your external customers, you pay attention to your internal customers, because when your internal customers are treated right, when your staff members are treated right, they easily replicate that energy, to your external customers. Keeping your external customers will be a walk in the park if your internal customers are treated right. So operate an open policy. Let them be free to come to you to discuss, an irate customer. Don't always make you feel that like it's always about the external customers, that you don't care about them, but you care more for the external customers. Don't always make them feel that way. Operate an open door policy. Let them come to you to discuss about the customer. And when they come, sit down with them and, map out a better strategy, to make sure that that customer is irate. That staff member will not forget you. He will know that, they will know that, yes, they are valued, and they will know that you are not just concerned about, the customer, the external customers, that they also matter, and they will be free spirited in responding to your customers, and will treat your customers like family, because you have also treated them as one. Right. Another thing I will add is meditation is important. We have to, give credence to the importance of meditation. Meditation, you know, um, we are conscious that we are living in two worlds. We are living in two worlds, and one of the ways that we have peace in this world is our connection, is our commitment to meditation. So it's important that we meditate as customer service personnel every day. By the time we do that, we are better prepared, for the day. We don't just wake up and jump into the day. We meditate and we take our time, to be aware and be conscious that we are not alone, and life is not just about where we are. It gives us that grace. We are able to give other people grace from the grace that we ourselves have received. So, in summary, it's important to know that anger management for customer service personnel involves recognizing triggers and depersonalizing abuse, applying immediate calm techniques like breath control, mental reframing, etc., using professional, empathetic yet assertive communication, setting boundaries and escalating appropriately when needed, and engaging in post-incident self-care ongoing emotional development. So these are the key takeaway. Staying calm under verbal attack is not about suppressing emotions. No, it's about managing them constructively by focusing on professionalism, empathy, and self-regulation. Customer service personnel can protect their mental well-being while maintaining a positive representation of their organization. I believe we have learned something from the de-escalating difficult customer service situation training. We will look at more in our next recording.